Hello and welcome to another edition of Droppin Baums with me, your host, Corey Baumeister. As always, with the lovely folks over at StarCityGames.com. Make sure to check them out for any of your SCG tournaments or trading card needs in general. So, today we are playing my favorite two-card combo that has ever been printed. Felidar Guardian and Saheeli Rai. Name a more iconic duo. You can't. You just can't. This deck is playing similar to Jeskai Control, which I was also a big fan of. We still get the Stoneforge Mystic package of Batterskull, a couple swords, a bunch of ways to interact. We have Teferi Time Reveler, which is just an all-star in this deck, as well as just being able to go, whoops, you're dead, with Felidar Guardian and Saheeli Rai. I have 3 matches. You can fast forward to any of them with the hyperlinks, as well as a deck tech at the end where I do give spoilers, but then I go in depth to the card choices on the deck, any improvements that I think I would want to make, as well as talk about the matches a little bit as well. Y'all enjoy the games. All right, and welcome to round 1 here with Jeskai Infinite Cats. We're on the draw. And we do have Batterskull already, which is a card you kind of don't want in your opener. But I think this hand is good enough that we're going to keep here. It's pretty borderline. It is pretty borderline, but I still think we're going to keep. Gives us good room to draw into stuff. We have a couple of sack lands here to be able to thin our deck a little bit, which we'll probably do on turn 1. We have Astrolabe, so our mana base is going to be basically perfect. A little bit of interaction as well as Batterskull here. So worst case, we even get to play a 5-mana 4/4 Vigilance Lifelink. Of course, it's much better with Stoneforge, but... Okay. Looks like Classic Jund. Could really be anything, though, of course. Basic Swamp. Okay. Definitely taking our Astrolabe, I would imagine. Could take Lightning Bolt if they want a creature to resolve. This is one good reason of not mulliganing these marginal-ish hands, because think if we were down to 6, I highly doubt our hand is going to look like this after a Thoughtseize, so I think it's reasonable. Okay, a Mana Leak for a little piece of interaction. So I think I'm just going to Scalding Tarn to go get a Steam Vent, maybe just a Mountain if I want to Lightning Bolt something. That Goyf is too big. That's unfortunate. All right, well, think we're just going to get this. I was just checking to see if there's a basic mountain, and there is. We'll just get Steam Vents here. And then we'll ship it back. Now we'll have the Mana Leak. There's our basic mountain. I'm going to get a Sackland again here, probably for a basic Snow Plains, and just try to Mana Leak something. Now, we don't have an instant in the yard yet, so that would make Goyf bigger. So if they're going to play anything, they're going to want to play it on their main phase, because that would make Tarmogoyf bigger if we counter it, especially something like a Liliana. So if they do go second main phase Liliana, that they made a grave mistake. So that's just free 2 damage right there. Snapcaster isn't bad. It's at least something we can play. We can't double spell anyways, so we're just going to put Hollow Fountain tapped. We could Mana Leak and Bolt, but we don't have a Bolt target now, so highly unlikely. The only thing that punishes us here is like Bloodbraid into something we have to counter, and then we can't kill Bloodbraid. And now a nice sequence if we do get to... Yeah, Bloodbraid is what we don't want to see right now. We love that. But if we get to Mana Leak something now, then next turn we can Mana Leak as well with Snapcaster Mage, and then just play Batterskull and hope to do something off that. That is the sequence I would like to do, but we'll see. We could always Bolt, Snap, Bolt next turn to really kill this Tarmogoyf. So, do we want to Bolt this? If we Mana Leak this, then this is dead, and this is going to go to a 5/6, and then we can just... Bolt, Snap, Bolt. That seems good. We do have to deal with this Tarmogoyf. All right. We have officially stabilized. And that's kind of all that really matters right now. We have the double red needed to go Snap, Bolt. Okay. Now we can just double Bolt as well. But I think Snap... Well, I do think just double or snap bolt is better just in case they go Liliana. So then our Batterskull won't be open to the Liliana because we'll have a creature to sacrifice. All right. Snapcaster. Second bolt. All right, Goyf is dead. Now we get to play Batterskull the old natural way. I'm doing Stoneforge Mystic correctly, right? If I just hard cast Batterskull on 5, I think that makes sense to me. Maybe not exactly. All right, no follow-up. We love that. Okay, and then a little bit more burn. We can just get pretty close to just burning our opponent out here. They're essentially down to 6 life. They must just be really flooded. All right, Batterskull time. And even if they kill the Germ, we can just re-equip it to Snapcaster or just start returning it and replaying it. So even if the Germ dies, we have some options. They likely have to have like a Fatal Push. Easily could have a Kolaghan's Command as well. And Kolaghan's Command here would be probably the worst card for us because they could kill Batterskull and return Goyf. No. Yep, that's the line. Now the question is, do we just... Well, now we'll have an artifact in the graveyard, so Goyf is just going to be unmanageable. Oh, we already had an artifact. Okay, thank God. So we can deal with that Goyf, and that Fatal Push doesn't matter. Unlikely that we can just burn out our opponent. Ooh, that's really good. That was insane. Teferi is so good. Okay, that was about the perfect draw for now. So now we can deal with it later, and we drew the Spell Snare to deal with it immediately. Wow, the one of Spell Snare is going to be clutch. I have responses. Spell Snare that. That was just insane. Teferi into Spell Snare. Bolt gets Teferi. That's okay, though. All right, our opponent is handless now, or cardless. We want to play this just to thin out our own deck. And now it's just a top deck war, except we have a couple of, oh no, that one's a big one with the Planeswalker. Oh no, we can't beat that at the moment. That was a good draw. All right, they've drawn better. How about another Teferi? Mana Leak. That's the opposite of another Teferi. Okay, I guess if they go Bloodbraid, we can counter a spell, but otherwise this is not going to counter much. Well, we asked for it. Inquisition. I guess we Mana Leak that and then Lightning Helix Bloodbraid. Or we Mana Leak and just throw 6 damage at our opponent. No, that seems worse. All right, we'll Mana Leak this. We'll Helix the Bloodbraid. And then we do have another turn here. Thanks to Helix's life gain. So we don't necessarily have to top deck this turn, but of course it would be nice. Astrolabe, okay, redraw. Guardian, ooh, that's good. Now not only does that buy us some time, but it also draws us a card. And there's the combo. All we gotta do is live. Let's go, Infinite Cat. Just draw a blank. Just draw a blank. Just draw a blank. Yep, I'll take it. I'll go to 2. Draw a blank. 1 time. No. Just a creature. Yeah! Infinite Cats. Game 1. Now let's see if they make us do it. Saheeli. Cats. 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 Woo! Yes. I haven't done that in way too long. Anybody who knows me knows I have a huge load of respect and love for the Felidar Guard and Saheeli Ride combo. My only GP win came at the hands of those 2 cards, so. Okay, so Celestial Purge against Jund is pretty good. It's not insane or anything. We really don't have a ton of cards for Jund. I would think this should be a good matchup. I really do. I mean, we want ways to deal with Goyf. That's the real thing. One card to deal with Goyf is just Timely Reinforcements. Sword of Fire and Ice is pretty bad. Feast and Famine and Batterskull are good. Mana Leak on the draw is not my favorite. Maybe I just want to keep it like this. Do some very minimalistic sideboarding here. Most of our sideboard is geared towards other matchups. We should beat these kind of fair decks like Jund, just because we're also a fair deck, except we just get to go way over the top. So I am actually going to keep this. I will Lightning Helix instead of Lightning Bolt. A marginal upgrade here. Lightning Bolt's just okay against them. I mean, they have a lot of creatures that can live through it. Mana Leak is the only card I'm really questioning because it can be really bad, but it can also be great against like Liliana when they're on the play, so we're going to run with it. Okay, we can keep this. We won't be playing Astrolabe turn 1. We'll be attempting to counter a 2-drop. All right, Internet Surfer, don't have the Thoughtseize maybe? Okay, I guess we'll be playing Astrolabe. Astrolabe. We'll have something to blink with Felidar Guardian then, so it's just a 4-mana draw card. Now we want to start sacking our sacklands now that we have way too many of them. It's nice that our deck really isn't very susceptible to Blood Moon, like most Jeskai decks usually are. All right, Overgrown Tomb, sacked by our opponent, playing a Goyf. Love it. Okay, well, I want to play Astrolabe here. I want to base this on what I draw. I think we'll just play this first because we don't know what land we're truly going to want. It's a marginal increase if you thin your deck out a little bit. All right, now we'll Scolding Tarn and say go get like a Steam Vent here. We're going to take a little bit of a beating, unfortunately. And then Snapcaster is not really going to be good, except if they do play a 2-drop, but any kind of follow-up here, and we're in quite a bit of trouble, to be honest. Collector Oof isn't actually a big deal against us. It shuts down our Astrolabes, but it's not like, you know, when we're playing Wurza where it shuts down the deck. It's realistically not that big of a deal. Oh, that's pretty good. But I want to play it when it'll live. All right, we're going to say go. I might just ambush this, this Collector Oof. I think I will. Then we get to target Spell Snare, so they can't play anything from the yard. I mean, likely it's just going to disintegrate in there, but now we get to block. And now if they have a 2-drop creature, they can't play it. And then we get to Teferi bounce their only 2-drop creature. And then after they replay it, then we get to Felidar Guardian blinking Teferi Time Raveler. So this really could be a great sequence for us. Okay. So Teferi will resolve. We might top deck something we want to play though, so we'll bounce this. Nope, we'll just go Hallowed Fountain tapped and pass it back. That was a great draw on our part. All right, so opponent's still stuck on 2 lands. Tarmogoyf, now we get to, I mean, with 2 Felidar Guardians, we have 2 Teferi activations already on the ready. That's just insane. And it still draws us a card. This is going to be beautiful. Felidar Guardian, blink Teferi. Yes. Okay, now do we want to thin our deck out? I don't think so. We'll bounce this. And we will just play the Sackland. Highly unlikely that we need to bolt something. So we'll just, you know, go get one of our dual lands just to thin the deck and to make sure we don't have to take 2 damage. Okay, that's good. Now we actually might want to... All right, so this has to die. We might actually just want to bolt here, but we're going to have extra mana. There's no need to deal ourselves an extra point. Our mana's pretty set up. We'll just go with the Sacred Foundry. So I don't really want to play Felidar Guardian right now because there's nothing we need to bounce. Unless, yeah, we're going to play this Fiery Islet, and we're just going to sacrifice this to draw a card. And we'll just bolt this. Okay, now we just don't want to see like a Thoughtseize. Looks like a Bloodbraid Elf, but Bloodbraid Elf can't cast the other spell with Teferi in play, so 4 mana, 3/2 haste. Kolaghan's Command goes away for good. God, Teferi is good. All right, then we'll just Helix this. Okay, now the question is going to be if we cast Guardian here. That's what I didn't really want to draw. I think we do cast Guardian and just blink an Astrolabe. Yeah, it puts this vulnerable, but I think that's okay. Now we have, now we can essentially block a Bloodbraid Elf as well. And that's good. We'll We'll go with a Serum Visions. We'll bottom both of those. Okay, and then we'll just say go. Now we can just kill a Goyf if we didn't want to use up our Teferi. There goes Liliana. So that'll stop the combo as well. But once again, we're not insanely concerned. We might even let them activate Liliana once just because we're so flooded and they'd have to discard one of their cards. So that might be a bit of a cute play. Especially now that we're even more flooded. So we're going to tick this up. We're going to play a Flooded Strand and just say go. And now we can bounce something. We're still probably going to have to fire a Helix or a Bolt off at this. All right, so there's a Goyf. So we could just kill this. Okay, now with that being the case, so it doesn't even want to activate that. So that should give us a little bit of a sign that maybe we don't care about it quite yet. So let's just Lightning Helix this, and we will search for this Hollowed Fountain. Batterskull is good. So I still think we have to bounce this. Okay, so that is really good as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to play Batterskull, and we're going to play Stoneforge Mystic. And now we're just going to try to be the aggressor here. And we're okay once again with them activating Liliana, because we'll just discard Vista. Because they only have 3 cards in hand, and we know they're all spells. That's the reason why I want to do this. And then we can kind of save this bolt. Then we'll probably have to fire the bolt off at the Liliana, realistically. But Sword of Feast and Famine, well, that's unfortunate. Now maybe we fire it off. We just also don't care about this, though. All right, we're going to let it happen. Because then we can attack Batterskull into Tarmogoyf here. They had to take that. We know that. It's a 6/7, so a bolt does still kill it. So we can just attack Liliana. And then we can just keep ticking up to Teferi. And we can just keep Batterskulling back here. We're doing all right. We're nowhere near the combo. But the combo doesn't always have to be our win. That's the beauty of Stoneforge Mystic in this deck. You just have another plan of attack. I'm going to do this first. Bottom both of these. That was as bad as possible. All right, we'll attack Liliana. Damage, bolt. All right. Now we're just going to play the Vista. And we have this on lock, so we can go return and replay this. So we're going to do that. Infinite Batterskulls. Teferi Time Reveler in this deck is unreal. This is really what the deck was missing, was Teferi Time Reveler. And Stoneforge obviously doesn't hurt, but this deck is sweet. Okay. I don't think this is going to work out exactly like our opponent planned here. Where's our opponent going with this? All right. Return Batterskull. Just waiting for us to see the line. Absolutely love it. You got to make us have it. Bold move. I like it. Okay, we are 1-0 with Jeskai Infinite Cats. Stay tuned for round 2. All right, and welcome to round 2 here with Jeskai Infinite Cats. We are on the draw. Looks like our opponent kept. We're going to keep as well. This hand isn't like insane or anything. And I might take that back. Looks like they are on the mulligan. Oh, the mull to 5. The mull to 5, never a fortunate thing, but it easily could just be Tron and we get ran over. But the one thing I love about this Jeskai build compared to normal Jeskai control, which I have loved in the past, is the fact that it infinite combos. Haha, called it. Is the fact that it infinite combos, so you have a lot more game against these type of decks. So, we're going to start by going to just get a snow-covered Island. Astrolabe here. Okay, so we got some burn spells here. Burn spells are very bad against Tron, so we'll be siding those out. But the main thing is we got one piece of the combo. We'll hope they just don't natural Tron us here, but, you know, they probably will. I think we'll just go like this so we can get a dual land here, and we'll either lightning bolt their face or spell snare something if we were to somehow get that option. Can't spell snare a Karn though. Okay, that's good. All right. So now the real question is, do we want a lightning bolt or not? And I'm kind of thinking not. I think we'll go with, we want to make sure we have every land here. So we are going to go with this. Now, do we want a lightning bolt? We're not very close, but I mean, we're going to play Saheeli Rai next turn no matter what. So there's no point. All right. So, well, I guess we don't have to do that. We'll just go blue, red, and now we're in the Felidar Guardian waiting room here. All right, one to them. That's not a Felidar Guardian, so we'll put that on the bottom. All right, we're hoping to dodge Tron again. And if our opponent were to miss Tron and not do anything exciting, our next turn is very likely going to be snap, bolt, or bolt, snap, bolt. Ooh. Okay. Well, now this gets a little more interesting now that we know they're on E-Tron instead of just standard Tron. I'm interested to see what they take, because we can just kill that with Bolt and Helix. Take Snapcaster, so it is giving us the option to kill this. We are going to... Okay. I kind of like keeping this just because we can draw it this turn. Alright, so what we have to do, we have to go red. So we Bolt here. Helix here. We'll get visions. We'll go get a basic land. And then we'll... Now we got a few looks at Felidar Guardian. Alright, now definitely this to the bottom. But the question is, do we want to keep this? So putting it to the bottom, we're still just going to draw that random card anyways. So this does give us the room to, in case Felidar Guardian isn't that second card, it gives us the opportunity to look at other cards. So it's just strictly better. If we only had 3 land in play, I would probably bottom this because we couldn't Visions and Guardian. But since we have 5 next turn, we're going to keep this on top to manipulate our deck a little bit more. And we can actually Saheeli Rai next turn after we draw Visions. Scry to the bottom. If it's a Felidar Guardian, we can just play Astrolabe and win. But if it's not, we can Scry that card to the bottom and then Visions. So we actually get to see the top 3 cards next turn to look for a Felidar Guardian. And at that point, we're a third of the way through our deck. Okay, that's okay. Karn is not as bad against us as, you know, like Wurza, for instance. I'm so used to playing Wurza that every time that card comes down, I'm just like, oh, that's game. But yeah, it doesn't do anything this time. Hooray! Okay, so we're going to draw the Visions. Now we are going to Scry. Ooh. Teferi, eh? Now they could Mycosynth Lattice next turn though, so I think this doesn't do anything. Yeah, we just can't. Great card. Alright, Visions. Saheeli Rai, not what we wanted, nor either of these 2 cards. Alright, well, I guess we just have to... Astrolabe? Mana Leak? Ugh, come on. Well, I think we just have to hope they don't have it and try to get another Scry in here since we have so many Saheeli Rais. The problem with this is if they go and just search up like a needle or something, it's actually just gonna work because we haven't been able to find anything. I guess this card is good enough because we can kind of blink it with Saheeli Rai a few times. Gonna keep it. But yeah, this isn't great because, I mean, first of all, if they have a land, they just go land, Mycosynth Lattice, and the game is over. But if they don't, they can just go search like Spyglass. Okay, I mean, that's a lot of lands. Felt like we got a little unlucky here. We looked through so many cards and still couldn't find anything. Yeah, I believe we can't do anything here because our planeswalkers can't activate, right? Nope, we are synth latticed out. All right. All right, game two. Game two. All right, against Tron. And they mulled to 5, too, so that makes it even worse. All right, so rejection, force a negation, maybe Vendilion Click. That's all that screams out right now. And all these burn spells are bad. Fairy Time Reveler is okay. All the swords are okay. I'd really like to have some Path to Exiles in this list. Maybe I should have included that. But I think we're going to keep it like this. Burn spells out. Good cards in. Okay. Ceremonious Rejection is a very important card. We have the combo. We have a mana leak on the play. We have Astrolabe to fix the mana. I mean, this is the dream. You never mulligan this one. If we can't beat E-Tron with this hand. Uh-oh. Because this hand is good. Alright, we're going to sack this for Snow-Covered Island. Astrolabe. Okay, there's a Spell Snare as well. Not that great. Realistically, we'll probably feel like we're getting lucky if we get a target here, but if we're going to get one, we're going to get one next turn. All right, then we're just going to go like this. Land go to kind of disguise that we have a mana leak. If we just go Hallowed Fountain untap, then it's pretty obvious what we have. Chalice on 1, that's a Spell Snare target. Now the question is, do we Saheeli Riot? Or do we just hold up Mana Leak? I think we just hold up Mana Leak. We just hold up Mana Leak, and then next turn we can Felidar Guardian, blinking a island, and then Ceremonious Rejection, and then win the following turn. I guess I don't care about that. Blast Zone. Another Mind Stone. I think I'm going to Mana Leak that one. Okay, now we're going to do the play. Do the play I suggested earlier. Felidar Guardian, blink something. Normally you'd want to blink blink the Astrolabe to get a free card, but special circumstances when we just win the game if we counter this next spell. Okay, just says go. I'd be curious what they can do to interact with this. Let's go for it. Saheeli Rai. I'm going to go here. Now, Dismember or something gets us, I guess. Dismember gets us good. All right, that's game 2. All right, do we want to make any changes on the draw? I mean, all these cards are really bad. I mean, Shattering Spree does have text, which maybe is relevant. But this also just kind of deals with artifacts in its own way. The only thing I could think is maybe just Teferi is pretty bad on the draw. But it still bounces Thought-Knot Seer, which I think is good enough. Just because we don't have Path to deal with Thought-Knot, where Teferi is just a pretty good answer, realistically. This hand is iffy, but being on the draw and having an extra Saheeli, we can just force. Hopefully we have a land in the top 2 cards and we can search up something with this. We're going to keep. This one's a little risky, of course, but they just snap kept. Okay, we drew a nice one. I hope they just don't have turn 2 Thought-Knot. Okay, there's Teferi at least. Our hand is good. Anything but turn 2 Thought-Knot, please. No. Yep. Lame. That'll be interesting to see if they take our Mystic or Teferi. Can't take a combo piece. They could take it a way to deal with Karn. This will be interesting. Yeah, turn 2 Thought-Knot on the play is a scary, scary thing against any deck, really. Okay, so they took Stoneforge. There's the combo. All right, we're not going to sack Vista first because I do actually just want to draw lands. Okay, that's not what we wanted now. At least at worst we have a play, but yikes. Taking 9. At least we top deck the land. That is pretty huge. All right, so I think we don't really have a choice besides just playing Teferi here. Yeah, Saheeli Rai, we're just dead. Stoneforge, we'd have to chump block. Yeah, there's no choice here. I think, unfortunately, though, this is just going to be too much on the play. Because now they do get to just play this back. We did draw another one at least. So they can't really break up the combo. So if they don't attack Teferi, we get to Guardian. I'm going to turn this off just in case we get to force something. So if they don't attack Teferi, we do get to Guardian, blink Teferi. And then we'd realistically just have to block, though. Yeah, I don't think this one's looking great. Takes the force. That's interesting. Wanted to resolve that Mind Stone. Makes sense. All right. Coming at Teferi. Makes sense. Now we just have to block Thought Knot. We have to chump block in some regards. But we do get to just draw another card. And we hope this works. And then, I don't know. We'll see from there. That'll do. That will do. All right. Well, what can you do there? I mean, we didn't even have... Force wouldn't have even done anything in that case, so... Our opponent's draw was just way too good on the play. Turn 2 Thought Knot, turn 3 Reality Smasher, with Dismember as backup. Like, Dismember is just great against us, too, so... Not much we could do there. I think this is a pretty good matchup, or at least should be close-ish. But, yeah, the die roll definitely didn't help us out. And neither did our draws, really, or our lack of Path to Exile. I think you need Path if you want to stand a chance in this matchup. So maybe it's just something I should have changed in deck building to add to that. Anyways, stay tuned for round 3 for our third and final round. Let's try to close out with a 2-1 record. And welcome to our third and final round here with Jeskai Infinite Cats. All right, so we are on the draw. We're going to keep this. The hand's not anything spectacular or anything, but we got one piece of the combo, some interaction, we can cast all our spells, it's a no-brainer. Basic Island, huh? Interesting. Okay, I'm gonna go Island or Fiery Islet Go since we drew Spell Snare. Good old Opt. No play makes me really have wanted to Visions, but what can you do? Now I think we still just gotta hold open mana now. Just in case there's like a Geist or something. We don't really know what we're playing against. Okay. Land? Yikes. Think we have to risk it and play a Visions here. Got there. Don't need any burn spells. I guess it's just gotta be blue-white control, huh? Well, then we gotta just say go in case they go Jace. Alright, so we need the mountain. Alright. Stoneforge Mystic. Well, we're gonna Spell Snare that. We don't actually care if this does get countered, because we can just Lightning Bolt it. Okay. And now we're gonna play a Mystic. Feast and Famine. Okay. We will bolt it while we can. All right, that's what we wanted. All right, we're gonna cast our own Mystic here. I think we're just gonna go get Batterskull. Name a more iconic duo. All right, and then we will ship it to them. Now we want blue, white, I think, so we'll get a Hollowed Fountain. Mana Leak this. Hope they don't have Spell Snare. Hooray! Okay, another Mystic. I think this is actually reasonable right now. Because we're either going to Mana Leak something or bring in a Batterskull. Now, do we want to draw cards and deal some extra damage or have them discard? I think I would rather draw some cards. All right, we'll ship it back. We're just going to try to win the game with Mystic here. The old one-card combo. And have the combo, the Infinite Cats in the back of our mind. Okay. Yeah, let's just Mana Leak this. Now we can just throw a sword into play and equip it and start gaining some advantage. All right, they're just gonna give up. Blue-white control, force of negation. Click. That's probably about it. Our burn spells are actually good because they hit Mystic. Teferi is something we'll have to lean on. I want to go down on Feast and Famine. And Spell Snare is going to be very good. Now it's just what don't we want? I want to keep all the combos and Teferi. Force of Negation also seems pretty strong, allowing us to tap out and deal with our opponents like Jace or something like that. So I guess maybe it has to just be burn spells. I like that, and then I guess we can take out 1 bolt. We're going to keep in 3 bolts for Mystics. Spell Snare is also kind of a bolt for it. Okay, there's Teferi. Plus we got the Mystic. This is a keeper. Not anything insane or anything, but just playing Teferi and getting that to resolve is just insane. It's just so good against Mystic decks and so good against counterspell decks, which this deck just happens to be both. Okay, so we'll just go Flooded Strand, say go. Now if they do go Stoneforge Mystic here, it gets a bit awkward. Okay, perfect. So now we'll get to bait out a counterspell with our own Stoneforge, and we don't actually care about it that much. So we're going to go like this. Force of Negation is pretty good. We're going to go for it. We can't hold up any bit of disruption anyways, so, okay. Stoneforge gets countered. Now we got a good force counterspell. Pitching a Saheeli, it's just extra. Okay. So now we got the combo. Now the question is, what do we play here? Saheeli Rai or Teferi? I think we just play Teferi. Hope it resolves. Okay. They at least countered that instead of our combo pieces. Now we'll go for a Saheeli. We're just going to play haymakers after haymakers. We're not going to let up. So they're down to 3 cards. This one we didn't care if it got countered that much, but it did resolve. So now we are digging for a land. Not a lightning bolt. All right, now we can counter Jace, which is probably going to be important. I think we'll just get rid of Snapcaster. All right, so now a land for the win. FT dubs? Oh, yeah. Infinite Cats. All right, we're going for it. They could have, I guess, nothing. I think they're just, no matter what, dead. Blink. Boom! Infinite Cat strikes! Oh, okay. Well, at least we got our 2-1 here. Blue-white control, I did think could have been a bit of a bad matchup, but the way it played out, I think it was pretty good. I think the matchup is a little tough for them when you have Teferi, Stoneforge Mystic, Saheeli Rai, Felidar Guardian, all cards that just have to be countered immediately, leads to a bit of trouble against pure control decks. That's just kind of why I dislike control decks in general in this current Modern, but that's a conversation for another time. And for another one of our SCG writers, go yell at Shaheen if you think Blue-White should have won this match. All right, everybody, stay tuned for our deck tech where I'll go in depth about the matches we played and the card choices of the deck. Stay tuned. All right, and welcome to the deck tech, everyone. Okay, well, we had 3 really good matches here. We played 3 matches against 3 different decks. Played against Jund, Eldrazi Tron, and Blue-White Control, Blue-White Stoneblade. I'll walk through a little bit of the matches here. So against Jund, we just kind of destroyed Jund. Our Teferis were just insane. The interaction between like Teferi Time Reveler and then Felidar Guardian blinking it, bouncing something else is just so powerful. Because not only is Felidar Guardian starting to complete the puzzle of your combo kill, Teferi, slowing them down, and you're drawing a card with that. That interaction is something that normal Jeskai, Felidar Guardian, Saheeli Rai decks in the past, even when they were in Standard, couldn't really do. You know, they couldn't protect it. Teferi Time Reveler, of course, was not printed yet, but it's the real deal. We really have to look at Teferi Time Reveler as just being a modern staple, even though it's still in Standard right now. It's just what the card is. I've been playing a lot of Urza, and I've been playing now a lot of Infinite Cats, and it's the perfect card in both shell because it slows them down and protects the combo, which is huge. So we kind of smashed Jund. Eldrazi Tron was a little bit of a different story here. I thought we were going to smash this matchup, but turns out we just got destroyed. We just got destroyed, plain and simple. I wish the matchup would have went a little differently. And then Jeskai Cats against Blue-White Control, you just saw. We snuck it out with a couple timely counter spells, and just the fact that I don't think Blue-White Control is that good of a deck, personally. And now we'll get to the card choices here. I saw this list from a Modern Challenge. I'm just looking at the name now of someone who went 7-1 to top 8, Sebastian Stuckel. 7-1 with this exact list. I thought it was awesome. I have some critiques though. What I think I would do is I was really struggling against these Eldrazi Tron decks at just being able to straight kill creatures. I think Lightning Bolt and Lightning Helix are actually not in the best place right now. I would love to see like 3 Path to Exile and 3 other burn spells to just effectively deal with bigger creatures. Not even just like Eldrazi Tron would beat us, but dealing with Urza, I think, Urza is a huge part of the metagame right now, if not the best deck. People need to be prepared for it, and just bolting it and stuff doesn't really do anything. So I would change some paths here, but the mana base I really loved. Any Astrolabe mana base is just smooth as butter. It is just so very good and really hard for you to stumble in any way. So then we got 4 Serum Visions, 4 Astrolabes as kind of our 1 mana cantrip spells. I think it's great. I love it there. 1 Spell Snare. I actually think I want more Spell Snares. Spell Snare is really good right now. Every deck that is at the top of the metagame is playing very important 2-drops. So when you're on the draw and you can have Island Spell Snare against Jund, where you counter Tarmogoyf, against Urza, where you can counter a Thopter, against Burn, where you can counter Eldion, it really, the possibilities are endless. Then we got 4 Lightning Bolts, 2 Lightning Helixes as our interaction direct damage spells. Now, normal Jeskai Control has always kind of had control as its #1 plan, but it's always had these burn spells of just like bolt you, snap, bolt you, attack kind of plan in its back pocket. This deck can do that, but really the deck's plan B here is Stoneforge Mystic with Batterskull. That's kind of its like separate way of attacking the metagame right now. It doesn't really have the means to go, snap, bolt, because it doesn't have Colonnade. Colonnade is one big, very important thing that would allow you to get in these extra points of damage and win this kind of fair game against these decks. The metagame's not really in the place for fair games, and while I think, these burn spells are going to be great against decks like Infect or Devoted Druid combo, stuff that's really linear small creatures, I think against the wide variety of metagame, I think Path would be better. So, like I said, I think that would be my choice. Couple Mana Lakes, that's fine. Snapcaster, great magic card. And then we look at our Sword and Batterskull package. I like having 3, because sometimes you draw 1 and that feels bad when you Stoneforge for, or when you don't have another Stoneforge target there in general. So I like having 3. They all kind of have their usage. I love Fire and Ice right now. Fire and Ice is really good against Urza. And like I said, I might be sounding like a broken record, but it's the best deck right now. You gotta have a plan for it. Then we got my favorite 8 cards to ever see in a deck. 4 Saheeli Rai, 4 Felidar Guardian. It's just beautiful. I mean, the combo is so resilient. It's the second best 2-card combo. I guess the second best combo. Urza is a 3-card combo with Urza, Sword, and Thopter Foundry. So that does take a little bit more pieces, but there's a lot of ways to find the combo. I just, in general, think that is a more resilient combo than Saheeli and Felidar Guardian, because they're both very vulnerable on their own, and if you just keep dealing with the combo pieces, it becomes pretty rough. Felidar Guardian's great, because it blinks the rest of the stuff in our deck, and that's just already pretty decent, but Saheeli Rai kind of sucks, and you only really want to play it into an open board, which doesn't happen that often in Modern, or you want it to be your second piece of combo you play after you already have a Felidar Guardian. We'll move to the sideboard here. We got 2 Ceremonious Rejections for Tron and E-Tron, as well as maybe against Urza. Shattering Sprees, any artifact deck. Celestial Purge, great against Death Shadow, mono red. Has a decent amount of applications outside of that. 3 Rest in Peace. You were starting to see any white deck have to play 4 Rest in Peace, but that's not really the case anymore. You know, Rest in Peace does hit Dredge, hits these graveyard decks that are still very important. Going back to Shattering Spree, though, I just thought of something. I think this should probably just be Stony Silence. I know it shuts down our stuff, but against the decks where you want Stony Silence, you usually don't want Mystic. So maybe I would like to see Stony Silence here and have a bit of a transitional sideboard. You know, something to think about. Another Lightning Helix against burn decks. Timely Reinforcement, same case. Is it Static Caster against any human-style deck or any kind of tribal, basically. Vendilion Click, decent one of when you want to disrupt your opponent from disrupting your combo. And then 3 Force and Negation. I love Force right now. Going Stoneforge Mystic and then being able to say go and still interact with like a Teferi or anything that would stop the combo, I think is excellent. Now, that being said, we are a combo deck that combos on our own turn, so it doesn't actually protect against that, so there's some flaws in this card in our deck, but still a very good card. All right, everybody, that's it for me for this week's Droppin Bombs. I had a blast. Jeskai Saheeli is a real deck. I think something I would be willing to try soon is to try to incorporate green and try to make Astrolabe combo where you can maybe even sneak in maybe Urza combo. I know that's a lot, but I have played against that style of deck, and I think it's pretty cool. But all right, thanks, everybody. We will see you next week for another edition of Droppin Bombs.